Welcome back everyone to overtake.gg. My name is René, and if you're an avid viewer of our hardware reviews, you might remember that we did a review for the Trak Racer TR8 Pro, a tubular frame rig. Back then, I was already eyeing the Trak Racer Alpine TRX because I really liked the idea of all that versatility. I first encountered that rig in 2022 on the SimRacing Expo and was just a big fan of the idea of being able to switch between F1 style position and GT positioning. In this video, we will take a look at the TRX's pros and cons, then obviously any tips that we can give you throughout the building process, why I even got more gray hair during the building process, and who actually should get that for their home setup. Let's go.
First point to discuss is obviously the looks and the design. With being a tubular frame rig, the Alpine TRX looks sleek and dynamic, with a great metallic blue finish. Even a few flakes found their way into the paint, and the quality on our version was really good. More scratch resistant than what we experienced on the TR8 Pro, and with a good paint coverage in general. Nothing negative to report here. It is a sexy rig, if I'm allowed to say so. The Alpine sticker set on the awesome looking F1 style chair is a nice bonus for fans, but in case you want a real full shot of Alpine F1 for your gaming cave, my first tip would be to try and ask for a 2022 version of the seat design, as the first version came with the red stripe design from that year's real life car and looks absolutely stunning, at least to me. Talking about things that stun you, while the rig looks sleek and therefore somehow quite lightweight, let me tell you, it isn't. You will have to carry it with two people around in your room, and it will make sure that you can skip gym that day easily. But before you can enjoy the visuals of the finished rig in your room, you obviously must build it up. So let's talk about that. Similar to the TR8 Pro, many elements of the Alpine TRX come pre-built, making it relatively easy to know what has to go where, so you don't get overwhelmed with the number of parts on your floor. While that is a plus, the devil is in the details. At time of building this rig, the manual provided at the Trak Racer website had some minor incorrect pictures. For example, the pedal tray on our rig has two screws, one in front and one on top, while the manual shows us three. That isn't the end of the world, but we found similar incorrect pages during our TR8 Pro build. The bigger issue for us during the build was that the manual misses the chance to give you some important tips when screwing all of this together. But hey, that is something that we can cover here at Overtake, right?
So if you want to put together your rig in the easiest way and always be up to date around your sim racing hobby, then the first good step is to click that subscribe button just below this video and obviously also ring the bell. And while you're at it, why not even hop into the comment section and let us know which rig you are currently rocking or which one you're looking forward to.
But back to the rig on hand and the tips I was talking about. One major one not to be found in the manual revolves around the problem of getting the wheel deck or the different front mounts in the right position. For this video, we installed the extended wheel deck, and as you can see, this has to sit outside of the elements that allow you to adjust the height of your wheel position later on. But when we first put everything together, that gap from left to right was so big that the wheel deck basically fell through instead of sitting on those elements. Easiest solution for this is to go back to the strut bar that also acts as base plate for the integrated display mount solutions. Loosen up the four screws there and have someone help you push the tubular frame left and right towards the center and then tighten the screws again. That should get you back on track, literally. Besides that, similar to the TR8 Pro, try to mount your pedals as much forward towards the seat as possible on the pedal plate. That will minimize flex. Another topic to touch on during the build are the materials used. Due to the Alpine TRX featuring a ton of neat ways to adjust the rig to your liking, be it the position of your steering wheel in every direction including the angle, or setting up the pedal box just perfectly, this comes at a price. It is quite fiddly to put all of that together, and unfortunately, with screws being aluminium, you can easily ruin your day with destroying a thread here and there. The entire construction that will hold your wheel, with the sliders letting you set up the distance to it, is the best example for this issue. Those little screws left and right can turn into a real problem, and won't make your life easy at all. Be very careful when screwing them in. Together with the need to press the left and right frames in to even get this construct to work, that was the moment I was really struggling with the most, driving me absolutely insane. But it worked out in the end, and I hope with the little tips we give you, it will be a more pleasant experience for you. In case you look at the recently updated manual of the Alpine TRX and wonder now why we didn't mount the Fatec DD2 you see on our test rig here with the mentioned side mounts, we got an answer for you as well. When we started this build, the side mounts had not been mentioned in the manual as that segment was added later. While in general the right parts for it are roughly in our older package as well, it ended up with just getting us about 1.5 rotations of the screw into the base, which for us didn't look ideal at all. So we went with a more solid bottom mount solution instead. We also informed Trak Racer about this, and they promised that the new packages are set up with slightly different parts for the side mounts, solving this issue. Another tip to add here, don't forget to tighten all the screws, especially at the seat, including the hook holding the seat before trying it out. I obviously forgot about that, being too excited, and nearly had the shock of my life when the seat just fell backwards into the lowest setting. Now that the rig is put together, let's talk about the main 2 points when getting a rig nowadays. The first one being how versatile it is, so how easy it is to change things to your liking, and the other one, probably the most important one, how much flex does it have? Can it handle your hardware? In terms of versatility, that is the strong point of the Trak Racer Alpine TRX. As mentioned previously already, there are plenty of ways of setting the rig up in a way that will suit your needs. While that in general is also doable with nearly any other typical aluminium rig, Trak Racer brings it to a new level with how easy it is. Nearly everywhere you will find a quick fastener or knob to quickly adjust things. Want to get the seat into an F1 position? That's 3 knobs to turn, and you are there. Or you want your wheelbase to sit further back as you run any adapter making your wheelbase longer? No problem at all. There are 2 quick fasteners left and right, then just slide your base back. That is as easy as it gets and absolutely amazing. Especially for those of us who might share their rig with friends, kids, siblings, or just want to get the most realistic position based on the car they are racing that day. When it comes to ways to mount your wheelbase, Trak Racer got you covered with plenty of options. Flex is kinda the end boss when it comes to rigs, right? Depending on the hardware you're using, from beginner pedals over load cells to full-blown hydraulic pedal sets or direct drive wheels, there are quite some forces that you will apply to the rig during your sessions. And here is where those tubular frames, especially with so many options to adjust positions, pay the price for all the versatility. The Alpine TRX in general is a sturdy and hefty construction, so you will never feel like it is flimsy or cheap, which is a big plus. But if you look at the pedal plate, for example, it has 2 knobs to change positions per side, holding together the side plates with the scale and the actual pedal plate. When applying pressure there, the plate can show flex, which can be countered at least a bit with mounting the pedals towards you as previously mentioned. But no matter what, at least we couldn't get it done in a way where there's no flex at all on this part. If you tightened all the screws properly after finishing a build, the rig frame itself seems to show no or just very minimal flex. If there is some, you probably should check the connector between front and rear frame as shown here. That solved it for us. Another section that you should check again is the seat bracket, as it is built similarly to the pedal box. The seat with bracket is basically screwed into a floating plate that sits between 2 outside elements, giving you many options to adjust your seating position. But it also means that the plate underneath the seat has to withstand stronger forces when you once again overshot Monza T1 and throw your entire weight into the brakes. Depending on your setup, there can be flex here, although not as massive as for example on the TR8 Pro with a retractable seat. The fixed mold of the F1 seat is for sure a plus when it comes to that.
So what is the conclusion then? The Trak Racer Alpine TRX is basically unbeaten in terms of versatility when it comes to quickly changing positions. While you can also do that on an aluminium rig in general, changing the different position of your pedals and seat, it's just way less effort on the Alpine TRX, which is really good, especially if you want to change quickly from an F1 race at Spa maybe to your GT position for the Daytona 24. Or if you've got multiple drivers at home, sharing it with your kids, friends or siblings, then this is probably the rig for you. And since there's so many mounting options for your steering wheel and wheelbases, it doesn't really matter what you use right now or want to use in the future, it will probably work with this rig. As mentioned before, this comes at a cost of rigidity. So there is a bit of flex here and there, especially when we're talking about the pedal box. So depending on how sensitive you are, you might want to check out this rig before you actually decide to buy. Quality-wise, what you get for your money is really good, with a bit of a minus here and there when it comes to the screws or materials used. But no matter what, you will definitely feel proud owning this rig. Building it isn't a straight walk in the park, but also not the Armageddon that some might fear. The parts fit nicely, and as long as you have someone to build it with, it's actually quite simple. The only minus here that we realized is a bit of the manual, right? Because it's sometimes a bit imprecise here and there, but we got promised that there will be an updated version very soon. I hope you enjoyed our review, and as always, feel free to drop into the comments if you have any questions about this rig or anything else about sim racing, and we will do our best to reply to you very fast. If that isn't fast enough for you though, then obviously feel free to join our Discord community, which is a very lovely community and always ready to help. My name's René, and I'll see you folks next time.